You're the scriptwriter, director, and producer,
Yes.
editor, color
Yes.
grader, lighter, everything. But hold on, but 10 plus, you got 10 plus years, but you also have a full feature movie out though.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is not a basic person messing with camera equipment, dude. That's a serious. What was it? I got 56 countries you're in right now.
Yeah. 56
Your
countries.
movie?
You know what I mean?
That's
It's in 56
insane.
countries.
Oh, dude, life is just full of fun.
It's supposed to be.
It is.
It's supposed to be.
Dude, hey, how do you like this new Quasimodo modification that I have?
Hey, I see it. I was looking. I was like, he's taking it to boot camp. Where you know what I mean?
He's got straight retarded.
You never go full, but I think you're going full.
I went too full. No, I got Bell's palsy. I couldn't get rid of it.
Hey, that's what happens. Things happen.
Right?
Oh man. So how you doing, man?
I have been a whirlwind of up and down.
Yeah.
I have been good, been stressed, been good. Actually, you know what? It is actually mostly good.
Okay, that's good. So it seems like that means that you're adulting.
Ooh,
yeah.
I don't know about that much. We got a lot more.
Hey, when things going up and down, it means you're doing some things, and then things is not working, and then things do work. Hey, that's called adulting.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
I had a realization this week of how much more adulting I need to do, and I was like, all right.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely need to do a lot more adulting.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You need more in your life, but the fact that that's the path of that's what happens.
Right?
See if I can get some light on it here. I got all these a little dark on my face, and I don't want red. Let's go with. I'm just doing some things. I got all kinds of stuff in here when it comes to my lighting.
So I've been using my my 5D for video streaming, but this browser won't recognize it, so I haven't been able to use it.
I hear you.
So this is just the screen recorder.
Oh, are you using like the OBS studio thing?
Yeah. So yeah, OBS has been phenomenal.
Yes.
Is that what you use? What do you use?
Yeah, I use OBS, but I use OBS for the screen recording, and then for me, I'm using. I got all kinds of stuff. You know that.
You got a whole studio right there.
Yeah. So it's like I have this little bad boy.
Oh, is that your old 5D?
No, I don't even have that 5D. This is the Black Magic.
Ooh.
This is a Black Magic Pocket 4K. So I got this one right here, and it's already mic'd with a Rode mic, and then I have a monitor. But I have this little thing, so I can just put this on my little desk right here. This is when I'm doing my little picture because it's solid. And then in the back, right there, that's the 6K Black Magic 6K Pro, and that's when I do my vertical. That one
you didn't have that one before. That one's new.
No, yeah, I've had it for about a year or so now, but a couple. I don't know. It's like a couple years now.
It's new since I've seen your inventory.
Yes, yeah, I have a lot, and then I got in the cases over there. I got the red and all of that goodness. So you know what I mean? I don't fuck around. This is real.
Oh no,
this is real.
This is one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about stories and video.
You know what I mean? I got lenses and shit, matte boxes, but that's besides the point. You know what I mean?
I don't even understand 90% of what I just saw in that camera lens alone.
And it's definitely a lot. It's basically that's hard work, sweat, tears, and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So yes, but it's good. It's good. Every tool is needed for something.
So tell me about your channel. What is your aim of your channel? I know it's been a lot of putting stuff up. I know before you were using it for testing your ideas and your experiments, but it seems like you're taking a more prominent look at your YouTube channel now.
Yeah. So it's the GT short stories. Now it definitely was where I would do testing. So I'm going to make little shorts or little test things and I'll put them out there. And then I would go do all of the stuff with my business on the side when it come with clients. And I didn't want to put client work up there. I just wanted to put all of my tests because I would make clients do the NDA forms and all of that stuff. So it would be like, or if I knew that they were trying to put it on their website and some of these things that I didn't know how to do, I would have to go test them out and try it myself. So, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say the whole fake it till you make it, but it was more along the lines of I'm learning on the go.
Yeah.
So now as I grew into doing this for fucking, damn, it's been a while. It's been a minute, 10 plus. So, yeah, but doing it.
Well, hold on, but 10 plus, you got 10 plus years, but you also have a full feature movie out though.
Yeah.
That is not a basic person messing with camera equipment, dude. That's a serious. What was it? I got 56 countries you're in right now?
Yeah, 56 countries. Movie? You know what I mean? That's it's in 56 countries. You know what I mean? It's definitely, that was definitely a great, I'll put it this way, that was a great achievement to do, because that's what I always wanted to do. So, you know what I mean? Getting that under the belt is definitely good. The key is to do it again.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Do you think it'll be as easy to do it again as it was now that you've done it once?
Oh yeah. I'll say now that I know what it is, it's still going to suck. Like it's going to kick your ass to do these things.
Yeah.
But now you just know. The good thing is it's every time you do anything is going to be something that sucks new about it, and you knew how to do everything, right? But the reality of it is, I'll say some of the main things that was like the pain points in that feature film was because I didn't know if some of the things I was going to do was going to work. And you can research your ass off, but if you're not executing and trying it, you don't know. So like me renting a bank, right? Renting a bank, like an actual bank.
Yeah, that one
you can talk about it and say, yeah, I'm going to rent a bank for this one scene where we're going to have guys with fake guns and they're going to rob a bank. And then I'm going to get, but talking about that sounds good. So then we're going to get this and then get that. And then you got to actually go talk to the people that own the bank and say, hey, can I use your bank for 2 days? And they're like, yeah, why? And you're like, yeah, because we're going to shoot a movie out of it. They're like, no, you're not. You can't just, do you have permits? Do you have this? And then you got like, all right, cool. And they're like, what's your general liability? What's your insurance? You got to have at least $1 million worth of liability coverage. Jeez. And you're just like, what are you talking about, man?
Wait, insurance? I'm supposed to have insurance?
Yeah, I'm like, you know what I mean? So, but one thing is what good is I did the research and the research was right. So that was good. But not all of the time that I was doing research to do that, it was right. Sometimes I just
before we switched from the bank, was that a real bank?
That was a real bank. That was I'll say it was a transitioning bank because of it shot during COVID. So a lot of the stuff went under. And they were basically going over through changes to sell it to another bank. So they was ripping certain things out of it because and they was basically looking at it like, all right, so we have this bank and we have these people that want to use it, but they're talking about picking it up in 5 months. So right now it's just inactive. But that don't mean that you can just say, yeah, somebody else is going to do it. Do we want to show somebody robbing that bank? You kind of don't want to show that. Like, so it was all these little stipulations behind it. And I told them like, hey, I'm really just looking at getting in there. I want to see a vault. You know what I mean? And blah, blah, blah. And so that happened. But that was every location. It was having, you know what I mean? The 60 amount of 60 person. I say, when we say the cast and crew, 60 total of like 62 people that worked on this thing that you got to try to figure out. And it's during the time of COVID. So you got to become a COVID compliance officer or find it. It's all these little random things, but
that's nuts.
Starts off with that dream and idea, right? So, 56 countries now, though.
Say it again.
56 countries now, though. So
I know.
Hey.
Dude, and you did that without a production company? Well, you are the production company.
Yes.
That's the crazy part. I think that's one of the massive. I've been messing with YouTube stuff, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I wish I had a production team.
You know what? Yeah, it was my Evergreen Films production company, but I definitely got a team on that. So it's like I had a DP, you know what I mean? Like I had to get the crew that was like on it that knew more than me. Like I had to
How
get
big was your
people in
crew?
positions. Whew, let's see. I think that was, if I'm mistaken, I think it was 28.
Oh wow.
Like at different times, but different point in time, because but I'm gonna say it wasn't 28. It was less than that. But I'm talking about in post production as well, because then I wanted to get, what I mean, somebody to do sound design. But I'm talking about I had a gaffer, we had key grips, I had a DP, I mean, had PAs going in there. You had, I mean, assistant directors basically going over. So it was a lot of stuff. I'm talking about I lost like 13 pounds shooting that film.
How many months did it take to shoot that thing?
No, we shot it in 20 days, 25 days. I think it was a 25-day shoot. No, 20. I think it was
Full
20-day shoot.
feature movie in 20.
Yes.
Okay, so this actually leads into a good conversation onto the
Yes.
YouTube thing of what I want to talk about. Storytelling and planning. Because to shoot a full feature movie in 28 days, that is, you had to have
20 or 25, not 28.
20 or 25. All right, 20.
Yeah.
We'll take 25 max, give or take some editing days.
Yes.
Right? So you gotta, that's some planning.
Yes, definitely.
Meticulous planning. How did you tell me about your planning process and your storytelling alone?
All right. So when it comes to story, first off, and I'm saying this as a small independent. Yeah. So every planning is going to be different, because I've worked with other companies where they did bigger things and the planning goes a little different. This is coming from, this is a self-financed feature film, and you're coming in it with bare minimal. Like when I say bare minimal, sometimes I tell people that this entire film cost me 50 grand. So it was like 49K of my own money. When you say that, some people say, oh, that's a lot of money for movies that cost $400 million like Avengers, and people spending $250,000 is nothing. So the fact that and that's when you think of independent, most people, when they're coming up with independent, the idea is to rent one location, do probably a horror or something, and you keep it in that one place. Get a house, and this movie's happening in a house. You don't have to worry about nothing, and you can get everything shot. I wanted to have multiple locations. I wanted this to feel.
Thanks.
Yes, I mean, I wanted to feel like something. So when it came up to the planning of it, I say minus everything that happened. Me sitting back, I was thinking I saved up for 2 years to save up. I saved $64,000, and I did that by doing things off of Craigslist. I was lowering my rates when it came. I was in drive mode. I was getting it. You need somebody to move something for you. I'm going to take my truck over there and just to help you move a couch and get $50. I'm doing everything, right? So coming up with the idea, I knew I had the money. So I made the money. Then I said, what is 64,000? What can I really get with that? So now I'm going to build my story around what I actually have, because I wanted to complete it. Okay.
So you got the budget in place, and then you did the story.
Yes, okay. Yes. Because if I saved up $200,000, it would have been a different type of movie. Because now I can actually buy and get other things. Right. Yeah. So I knew that being realistic, I think the biggest thing is being realistic with yourself. Not this whole, like, don't get me wrong, it's good to dream. Have the dream mentality. But just know that you still got to reach for those dreams. And if you were scared to jump and the dream is up in the air, you ain't going to ever get that. It's just going to be a dream. Go to sleep, finish thinking about it. But when you want to do it for real, you need to say, this is what I can do. This is what I have. I had $64,000. That was actual me. I had that. I can look at the bank. I see it there. I knew that was mine. So I said, all right, what can I do with that? Now I'm going to build my story around that. So I think of a story that can be somewhat personal, but at the same time can be able to not necessarily have too much like fantasy stuff. Because I'm like, I don't know how I want to make Thanos come in here. Like, we can't do that. Like, right? Like, you can't do some of the ideas that you think of. So you have to be realistic in the fact of what you have. And that became the idea of the initial planning. What do you have? Look at the things. I knew I had my camera. I own a Red. I was like, this Red can shoot a movie. All right. I have lenses. I was like, okay, I have lenses. I have lighting. I don't have all of the lighting, but I have enough to make something happen if I had to. So then I had to build a story, and I had to say, what can the story be around? So I have to think about what's in my wheelhouse? Who can I reach out to? If you're trying to have a person in there that knows how to fight, you should know people that know how to fight, possibly, because you ain't gonna have too much money when it comes to getting all of these stunt coordinators and blah blah blah. But it's like you have to really basically go off of what you know and what you have. Don't get me wrong. Even though I had a stunt coordinator in there, right? So, so I had that as well. Shout out to Tony Bella. But so I had a stunt coordinator as well. But the reality of it is, I wrote to what I knew I can get my hands on.
So did you pick your actors and actresses prior to the story?
No. But what I knew is the delivery of some of these things was going to be fairly achievable without having to go grab an actor that's going to want $100,000.
Yeah.
I was like, I just need people that have the same mindset as me. They got to be strong-minded. They got to want to win. They got to be willing to go in there and make it happen. And everybody that I brought in on the team was pretty much about that. And I went through and auditioned everybody. I was going through the whole process of trying to find that person that can understand, like, hey, guess what? We're doing something from scratch during COVID when we're not even supposed to be doing stuff, right? So it's like you got all of these new protocols. You got to make something happen, and it's not even saying it's going to get done. You got to have that realization. You might just blow $64,000, and you can have you some bookends. Like that's the thing.
That's scary.
Yeah, and that's the reality of this. Is that when you're trying to go out there and create, it's just like YouTube. You're trying to create. You can spend 4 months on one video, and you can put it out there and it'll get 2 views. And that don't necessarily means it wasn't good, but that just shows that it ain't going to reach everybody. And sometimes it's other legwork that's needed. Thumbnails. And you know, I mean, I heard you speaking about that on your thing when you heard from the top 3. You know what I mean? People, this is a video that you put out there. I don't want to go into that, but I'm just saying. But listening to it, okay, what is Gary Vee talking about? What is blah blah blah? What is Mr. Beast talking about? So when it comes to it, you don't know unless you're really studying the algorithm of how you're going to really set yourself up. You don't know if something actually is going to be successful or not. You just need to try to hit certain marks and still bringing that entertainment to it. So when it came to this feature film, that's how I looked at it. I looked at it like, hey, I'm doing something, and it ain't even about the money. I didn't care about if I made money. I knew I had to do it. Sometimes that needs to be the drive. Even if you don't get people looking at it, I'm going to finish this thing and I'm going to get it done. And that was the mindset.
That's my mindset on other YouTube videos I've been making thus far. I'm like, nobody's going to watch this. This is garbage. I even think it's garbage. I went back and watched them, and I was like, next thing I'm like, God, I got to finish this video. It's 3 times already. Damn it. I'm like, I'm bored.
Hey, it happens. It happens.
I learned.
It's like if some people tell me and they say, oh man, you like your movie? I'm like, hell no. And they're like, what? No, I don't like money. They say, what, was it bad acting? I said, no, everybody did a great fucking job in it. To me, I had to live with that and build it.
Yeah.
I know all the ins and outs. I know what certain things were supposed to be, and I couldn't accomplish it.
So does it bother you? Does it bother you to see all the things that you know could have been better in your eyes?
No.
Okay.
What I do is I enjoy that journey.
Yeah.
Because most things that happen, it was due to something that I didn't have. I didn't have knowledge, I didn't have finances, or I didn't have the time. So it's all these little things that come around that you know it's like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? And me being honest with yourself, you can't just kick your own ass all the fucking time. If you do that, you ain't gonna make it. That's just it. You're not gonna make it. You gotta understand that you are not fucking superhero. You are not Mr. Perfect. You are going to make mistakes, but the key is try, learn from them, so the next time you can just chip away at it and make less. But you're going to always make them. They're going to be there. The things that I couldn't do in this film, I was like, God damn it. But I knew if I had another day at this warehouse that I rented, that I knew that they only let me be there for 3 days. And I was like there the entire time. And I was like, oh, I know that the time is ticking. And tomorrow we got to be at another location that I rented. So we can't stay here anyway. I can't get this back. We don't got the money for it.
Oh, wow.
If I don't get the things that I need, you need to make it work. Wow. You know what I mean? You got to make it work. And to me, it's like, I don't look at any of those things that I couldn't make happen as a setback or a letdown. I don't get mad at it. I'm just like, man, when I think about it, I was like, man, I was moving. I was handling it. I was doing everything I could to make it happen.
So did you find yourself, how many times did you reshoot a lot of scenes? Were you
talking about like takes wise, right? How many takes did you take?
Yeah, how many takes did you take for a bunch of scenes?
Well, some of them they would nail them the first time. I'll put it this way: the cast and crew I had, and this is basically a little praise to all of them. When it came to it, I didn't have normally when you're making a film, you're going to do a table read. And that's when you're going to get all your actors around the table. This is before y'all even start shooting. And everybody's going to read this entire script. We're going to read it out and you're going to say your character's part. And then we're going to talk about it afterwards. It was no table read. Everything was done through Zoom call because it was lockdown. This is 2020, right?
Zoom read.
Yeah, it was not even a full, I didn't get everybody. I spoke to each person individually about their scene and we talked and discussed it. And I said, hey, if you got time, I've had a mass email. Y'all can see who you're teamed up with and y'all can talk to each other on a Zoom if y'all want to get this stuff together. And the majority of them took an initiative and they did that. But it was like, it was never a full thing. I had people, I couldn't have everybody there every day because I couldn't pay for everybody because I'm paying the talent. You showing up for your scene. And sometimes this is the first time y'all meeting each other, like face to face. And now you're going to go deliver.
Jeez.
So,
that's insane.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it definitely is. But they delivered. They delivered.
Yeah. They definitely did. It was a great movie.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they definitely delivered for, you know what I mean? It's like even like Shamarky, he's the main star Marcus. That's his first like acting role. And he's the lead.
He did phenomenal.
Yes, and he's the lead.
For a first time acting rig?
Yes. He did like commercial things before that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about film. You know what I mean? And now he got like 2 or 3 films under his belt where he's in there. So he took that and he ran with it. And he's making good things happen. So, you know what I mean? Ultimately, that's what you would like. You would like everybody that if you can be able to help assist with like catapulting them up a little bit, you want to have that. And then they help me catapult because they got a feature film done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you're the scriptwriter, director, and producer.
Yes.
Editor, color grader, flighter, everything. But so what I really wanted to get into was the story planning and telling, right?
Got you.
So I wanted to hear more about your process and flow and breakdown of it and like kind of how you plan it out. One, I just wanted to hear you talk about it. And then 2, I wanted to absorb as much information as I can about the factor so that I can do it. Because like the other night I spent, I think it was like 3-5 hours recording. I got about an hour worth of footage, went to go cut it, turn around, threw it all away, re-recorded a new video. 3 minutes later, I was done because I actually understood what I wanted at that point.
Yes.
I have wasted days already. I'm on week 4 of signing up to be a YouTuber. I have wasted so many hours and days, let alone the imposter syndrome and the stress and intensity of that factor alone. But planning, scripting, and getting into things is where I'm really like, I've wasted a lot more time than I believe should be wasted. But I understand it's a learning curve. This is why I want to talk to you.
Sounds
You're
good.
a storytelling pro. I want to hear about it.
Say pro. I'm still learning, but this is what I will say.
Hey, you have a full feature, pro. You are by definition pro.
I understand. I understand
not
what you're saying.
Well, in my opinion. I don't know.
I'll say, I'll say to break down my storytelling and how I'll come up with an idea. All right. I go through bullet points. You have to understand bullet points are key. This is how I wrote an entire script. I wrote a bunch of scripts, but I'm saying, but the thing that worked for me. Now remember, everybody got their own way. I'm just telling you mine, right?
Yeah.
I'd go through bullet points. First off, come up with an idea. Don't worry about the title or whatever this stuff is going to be, because I hear a lot of people, well, hear this title I have. No, stop. Bullet points. What's the beginning or whatever you can think of? What's the cool thing? What even got you want to do this? So if I'm going to come up with a short film, I'm going to do this whole process with you right now. I'm just going to come up with something on the fly, and I'm going to tell you how I would map that out.
All right, let's do it.
Short film. All right, let's just say you have two guys and they're talking on a Zoom call, and then something creepy comes up behind one of them and snatches them, right? I'm not saying which one, snatches them, and then the phone, they're on a Zoom, and the other one's like, what? And first heard and I'm saying this off the bat, he hears the other guy, some ticking. Just, he's like, what the fuck? And then the guy gets snatched up. And he's like, what the hell? And then he hear that ticking coming outside of his door. Now, that's just an idea. That's not a story, right? That's just an idea. Now, how do I make that a story? This is what I would do.
Okay.
I would write that little bit down, what I said. Just not in verbatim, but just write, all right, strange ticking, blah, blah, blah. One person gets snatched up. Now, let's go. Do we know how we want this thing to end? Maybe we don't know, right? So maybe we don't know. So let's just take it back before that. What are they talking about? So let's say now I'm going to do some bullet points. I'm just going to write 3 things that they could possibly be talking about. What is it talking about? Creating YouTube channel. What if they're talking about storytelling? How to tell stories? That's a bullet point. What if they're talking about relationship issues? That's a bullet point. What if they're talking about false motivation coffee? Let's say they're doing that. And those are 4 bullet points. Now with those bullet points, I'm going to look in those and start thinking of what sounds interesting to me.
Yeah.
If they're talking about false motivation coffee, where can they take that? Okay, cool. They can do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to start thinking of little ideas just at the spot. This is just spot on thinking about it.
I don't want to break your train of thought, but you said, for me, that's actually a really good point.
Yes.
When you start your storytelling, do you think about you solely, or do you consider the audience right off the bat, or do you do that later?
I do that later. Okay. I do that later. Now, it's not far later, but what it is it's how I bounce the idea off. Because first off, I want to make sure that I think it's cool.
Yeah.
The reasons why I want to make sure it's cool, because I know how hard it's going to be to make this. And if it's not cool, I'm going to lose interest. If I lose interest, then it means I'm going to half-ass it. If I half-ass it, it ain't going to help anybody.
That's a good point. So it's time,
right?
To half-ass it.
Yeah. So you know that you're going to
do anything, whole-ass everything.
Exactly. You're going to come in there. It's whole ass. Sit in that chair, right? So it's like you're going to go into it. You have to make sure that it's interesting to you.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't need to be the entirety of it, but something in that gotta be interesting. It's like me. Sometimes I would make a short, and it would just be for sole purposes to get the audience to laugh. Right? But the reasons why it's that is because I want to make something funny. So if I think it's funny to me, then that's when I'm going to do my next stage, which I'll get to that after these bullet points, right? Okay, so cool. The key thing is to find out what is your subject. What are you really trying to get from it? So with me, I'm going to look at those bullet points. I'm going to see which one that I can talk about the most or quickest ideas that come to my head. Now, whatever that subject is, let's say if it's talking about filmmaking, they're talking about that. So I can come up with so many ideas. Now I know that I like that. So that's what they're talking about. Because now I can say something before that, leading up to it. Do you have knowledge on the subject? If I don't know that much about coffee, I don't know if the conversation that they're having is going to sound authentic, right? So I'm trying to make sure that the words that you're writing for these characters, that it sounds authentic. So storytelling, you want it to be flow. It needs to flow. If you got people up there and they're just like, yeah, that's cool, bro. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, bro. Sounds good, bro. You're like, what the fuck is this, right? But if you something that you're passionate about, or if you're curious, that means that you're willing to do the work to find out more, and then that's going to help. So now you have your bullet points. Now with those bullet points, we can keep going backwards. How does this even start? How does it start? Okay, cool. So maybe they figured out a time to get on there to talk about. So now I'm trying to think about a beginning of this story. Now I'm gonna write bullet points there of how you can be able to start it.
Now, are you trying to look for something interesting to like hook them, or so like you're thinking of like the event kind of is probably the way to describe it. Like there's an event that occurred that's either dramatic or important or have some sort of weight that's greater than, hey, you available Friday? Let's have a call.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
So when I'm starting to think of these bullet points, I'm going to do that for going forward and going reverse. Now, the good thing is when you're thinking about stories, sometimes you might just think of one cool ass scene. That can be the thing that sparks it. The person punches through his stomach. You're like, oh shit, that was awesome. Right? So that scene is cool, but we got to get there.
Yeah. You got to build the whole story.
So you can say that scene is cool, but now we got to figure out. So you're doing the same process of doing it. A good thing is to have like a bounce board. One of the bounce boards for me, and this is just bouncing ideas off of, is like my older brother, right? So it's like I'll reach out to him and I'll just start telling the story. I'm like, you know, it'd be cool, blah, 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 blah. Now, he's brutally honest, right? But I love it because he loves storytelling too. So he'll hear me and he'll be like, it'll actually be better if they did this. And I'm like, yeah, but I got him doing this because of blah, blah, blah. And he's like, but that don't actually make sense. And I'm like, how does it not make sense? Which this is after I did my bullet points. Now, this is where we come back, where we're circling it back for the audience. Using my brother as this is things, or you can use your spouse. Like I use my wife all the time as well. I'll be like, hey, baby, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just looking for her initial reaction. If it's like, oh, shit. I'm like, oh, that's something. If she's just like, I don't care. I'm like, that's probably trash. Right? But you know what I mean? It's one of those things that you need to find out how you need to feel it. And
how many people do you gauge it off of when you do that?
I usually do about 2 to 3 people. And that's my older brother, my wife, and sometimes it'll be, I'm not going to say my kids, but I will just run the idea of something else. Like I'll put it in the form of like a movie that they saw, that they like. And I'll say, you remember a movie? What if they did this? And if they say no, they don't know that I was actually doing that to hear about something I'm doing for me. But you know what I mean? Because you don't want the kids just to be like, yeah, that'll be cool, Dad. And then you're like,
they're awesome. Blindly truthful, right? They're going to tell you whether they're interested or not.
Exactly. So it's those kind of things. And sometimes you just shoot in the dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which that's what the channel GT Short Stories was. It was supposed to be. I'm just testing the stuff out. I'm going to make something and I'm going to push it out. You know what I mean? So you have those when it comes to the storytelling process, you have to really analyze first off is why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Why are you doing this? Do you love it? Or you know what I mean? If any of the things is I'm trying to get a bunch of subscribers and I'm trying to make a bunch of money, it's going to hit you hard because it took me, I want to say, and I know this is like, I'm not going to say I was fully serious on my GT Short Stories, but it took like, I think I was subscribed. I made my channel in 2010, I believe. I didn't get monetized till like 2020 or 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Now,
and that's because you took a serious turn too, right?
Yes, yes. And I wasn't really consistent. I was like, I'm just using it as testing, but it wasn't until I started taking it serious. And then I started saying, you know what, let me try to get this going and let me try to build this and then really see what I can do with it. Not necessarily to see if I can make money or see if I can get a bunch of subscribers. I was just like, you know what, the way I'm consistent with my business, I am not consistent with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have you dived into the corner of the realm of like everyone's preaching right now, the value of having a channel and having that audience and building that customer base and following off of that? Is that one of the reasons you're into it, or is it one of those?
No, it's not. It's not. I'm not going to say that. The one thing is with me, and I'll say that I'm working on prepping up another animated movie now, right? So. Yeah. I'm writing the script. I'm learning the characters. But one thing I want to do is, and this is not when it comes to everybody being preachy, to me, is understanding what things take and then learning from your past. Now, when I say the past, me doing my first film, Pick a Side, I understood what I did wrong on some of those. I didn't do enough marketing on it. Don't get me wrong. It's successful. It's made its money back and some. And I'm definitely proud of that, but it wasn't even about the money. It was just the fact that I could have done more.
Yeah, so you're Monday night quarterbacking now. Now you're reflecting on what could have happened.
Exactly. So to me, I'm like this. All right, I know what didn't work. and I know what still got it to the court. So to me now, and some people say, well, it's successful for independent. I'm like, yeah. I don't care about success. I only focus on what I did and what I know that I could do better or try to learn from. So from those things, it was, I wasn't consistent on social media because I don't like social media, right? I'm like, I don't want to tell people my business. What the heck are we doing? I'm not trying to get on there, be like, I ate steak. I'm not trying to do all that. But it was one of those things where I had to say, hey, you know what? Let me look at consistency. So I started researching different channels, and you start seeing the consistent channels. And I was like, I need to get that discipline because I already have a discipline for my business, but I would not look at my channel and all of that as a business.
Yeah.
That was like, I'm gonna throw something on there now. Yeah. I was like Instagram, YouTube. I didn't care about none of those because I was like, a lot of people would reach out to me. I was word of mouth. They knew that I can come over there and I'm gonna get this done. I'm showing up on time. I'm gonna make it happen. It is no in like buts about it. But
now, what you're talking about, I just want to mention because I know we haven't mentioned it yet. You also shoot commercials, promo videos, corporate videos. If it's behind a camera, you shoot it.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure that was mentioned just in case anyone catches this and they're like, well, he only does features.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about, man? Yeah, so it's a lot of I'm not a person that like to like highlight myself.
Yeah.
I just do the work and then I go ghost. I'm just quiet. I'm just in there just grinding, right? I'm grinding, I'll create something, I'll push it out there. But what made me want to go and look at the channel and try to be more consistent was because I told myself, like, after I wrote the script, that's when I wrote my script, I think it was 2019 for Pick a Side. That's when I got on YouTube. No, Instagram.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't on Instagram before that.
Oh, you weren't? Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying? So I was like, I need to get on here and do these things. But to me, I was like, what? Am I going to go over there and we'll do some TikTok dances? Like, what are we doing, right? So it's like some people are like, well, you're afraid to do stuff in front of the camera? I'm like, no, I don't care. I'm a wild. I could do whatever I need to do. The thing is, I was like, I don't see the value.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the one thing is, as an independent, is that you don't have big companies driving your product. You have to drive it. And if you take a long time to try to, get in front of it, it's already behind you. It's gone.
Distribution.
So, yes. So that's what it was, a lot of playing catch up with my film Pick a Side because I didn't lay the groundwork. So now I am laying groundwork where I am dropping a video. Like with YouTube, I'm dropping 2 every week. Right.
I was going to ask if you had a schedule or consistency.
Yes. So I'm basically building the schedule as far as right now goes. I drop it on Monday and one on Wednesday. And sometimes I drop a Friday. But basically what I'm eventually doing is, and I've got a lot of things lined up. It's good that we're actually doing this because in October, I actually got some videos lined up where I'm talking about structure and storytelling and how you should lay foundational work to be able to be successful for yourself. I didn't say successful for YouTube. And when it comes to Instagram, because those things are algorithms and you can only shoot and hope that you got content and follow what John is saying about following these people. And you can try to go through all of those avenues. That don't still mean you'll be successful, but it's a better chance at it.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at is being successful for you. So you can be comfortable and sleep good at night to know that you did the work that you needed to make yourself a successful and happy with the content that you're laying out there.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing those. Those look good. That sounds like exactly what I'm looking for. Because I've been doing a lot of research. Like, me, I'm a huge research nerd. And whenever I dive into something that I'm interested in, I go hard.
Yes.
Right. It was 20 plus hours to make that 3-minute video, small template. But it was like I wanted to verify that I was getting all the information that everyone was saying that we're all bigwigs. But do you have a structure? Speaking of which, do you have like okay, well, here's my typical intro, here's my aim. So what happens if you miss a video? Do you hate yourself for missing video outputs?
No.
Like, tell me about your consistency, like how you're making yourself consistent.
Yes. Okay. Got to get into that. First off, never try to hate yourself. The reason why I say that is because you're going to be hating yourself a lot. You're not going to hit all your marks. Okay. You're not going to hit all your marks. What you want to do is you want to put yourself in a position for you to hit your marks. And just know you're going to come up short every now and then. And you got to be okay with that, because that's what's going to bring that energy out into your videos. If you need to look into like, hey, maybe I need to load up and shoot 4 videos now so I can have Monday and Wednesday covered and the following Monday and Wednesday covered, then you got to schedule that time. Now, one big thing is I am big on time management. Now, just because it's not thrown out there yet, because I am married, I have 2 kids, I have an actual job where I'm a video head of video production for a company, and I do a lot of the video producing and stuff over there, editing as well. Then I have Evergreen Films, where I'm consulting, I'm doing commercial work. And I've dived into the 3D and CGI animation work. So I've been doing work on that, where you're on XR stages and you're building up like CG things, and you're the person that's operating the Unreal. So I'm doing a lot.
Hence the full green screen room behind you.
Yes. And doing all of that, you still have to manage time to be able to hang out with your wife. You got to manage time to hang out with the kids. You got to manage time to do your work. For even though I work remote, when we have video shoots, I'm there doing the shoot, the production. Then you have outside family that you got to still be able to meet up with them. Then you got your own personal time, where you want to be able to just hang out and look at some bullshit. Like, let me just see what's happening on Star Wars. Let me see this.
Research.
Right?
Storytelling research is what I tell myself.
And then you can say, and you have an Instagram channel, and you have a YouTube channel, and you have your own personal side projects that you want to do, and you have a script that you're working on as a feature film, and you have to start laying out that. So time management is key to when it comes to structure. What you want to do is, and I tell this when I'm doing a lot of consultant work with people, I would say this for time management. What I do is I write down things every day on Post-it notes, and I'll do things the night before. And it'll come down to a point where sometimes I'm scheduling the day from 8 to 12 or 8 to 11. You're doing this. Then you take a lunch from 12 to 1. Put in there. And I know this is going to sound ridiculous what I'm about to say next, but it's true. You can put in there from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. hang out with wife.
Well, that's funny, because actually one of the big approaches I'm taking with creating this YouTube thing is scheduling time for myself.
Yes.
Right. Back when I was in college doing security, trying to build startups, doing everything I was doing, I was putting in 18 hours a day. I was putting in 7 days a week. I was not near my family. And one of the hugest devastations I ever had was when my wife came up to me and was like, hey, are you going to be a dad who's here, or are you going to be a dad who's always working? And that's where I'm now. I'm like, okay, I lost my wife because I screwed everything up. Now I'm like, okay, let's schedule in our downtime. I want to spend time with my kids.
Yes.
I'm making that part of my priority.
And I'm happy for you because of that. Like, definitely scheduling. And you'll be surprised, not you, but I'm just saying, just for the audience to hear this, because I do this a lot when it comes to consulting. Writing your scheduled time, because you'll be surprised of how many hours go by where you're just not doing anything, where you're on a computer and you're probably just looking at YouTube videos, or you scrolling, or you're like, I'm going to research here. You would research, and then you do another 15 minutes on looking at some BS, and then you go back to doing some work. You do that. If you have it planned. Now, when I'm saying plan, I planned that this is going to be my time to work out. I only got, if I knew I got a bunch of meetings coming up at this time, I'm gonna have to push my time to work out. I only got 30 minutes now. So when I go over there and I got my 30 minutes, I need to hit it hard, because I only got 30 minutes and then I got to get back to something else. So once you start holding yourself accountable, that's what's going to make you actually, but you got to really try. And it's hard to try. You might say, some people say, oh, I'm trying to work on a diet. I'm not even saying that. If you schedule, I'm going to spend 1 hour on research of how to make better YouTube videos. Right? I'm going to go type in John and see what he's talking about, right? So
I've lost those hours and hours and days.
Yes.
I went into the speaking of the wish, I said I was going to do some research for 2 hours. I lost 7 because I got sucked in a hole.
Yes, and it does that, And what I'm saying is, because it's not like nobody's superhero here. I have these same human traits that can get caught up in watching something. Don't get me get down the Dragon Ball hole and then I'm just there, right? So I have to schedule my time to say I'm going to look at bullshit. I put that in the schedule. This is 30 minutes of bullshitting.
This is bullshit. I like that.
You know what I mean? And when
I was scheduling downtime, but to schedule bullshit time too sounds really wise.
No, because you
need bullshit time.
You need that. If you don't think you need that, then you're going to go over there and go do it in regardless. You're going to do the bullshit. It's going to be on either on the time that you're scheduling or time you're not. So put that in there. So when you have to grind or edit a video, that editing process, this is scheduled for that. You can look at yourself and you're like, oh man, you're kind of drifting because you're there for an hour. And you can know that after this hour, I got 30 minutes of bullshit.
How do you squeeze your editing in?
What was that?
How do you squeeze your editing in? Do you block it off in time chunks or do you try to squeeze it in where you can? Are you picking up the laptop when you're sitting down with the family?
No, I don't bring any of the things that I'm doing outside of this fucking thing. Unless
your stuff stays in your office, stays in your office, family.
It stays in office.
I like that.
You know what I mean? But unless I'm shooting something,
and
then I'll take the stuff outside. But when I do that, I know that, you know what I mean, like me and my wife will have a date day. You know what I mean? We'll go for lunch and we'll go out and blah blah blah. Sometimes my brain was in the zone because I was like, oh, I gotta get this stuff done. And I look at you all right? Something wrong? I'm like, yeah, I'm just thinking about the work, but I'm pushing that shit off. Let's get a drink. Let's fucking kick it. Cool. But not trying to like get off the subject. But basically what I'm saying is structure is that'll be the first thing I would say to do. Give yourself realistic things. Don't just say, I'm going to edit for 6 hours or I'm going to research or I'm going to do this. You have to break it down. Even if it's like, I'm going to put an hour into editing this project. I'm going to put an hour into editing this project. You're not going to get that project done in an hour. Yeah. But the thing is to schedule it so you can start to build the consistency of getting it done. That's what's going to help you be consistent of dropping a video Monday and dropping a video on Wednesday. And then you can start to say, hey, guess what? I know on Saturday, taking the kids to the water park. So I need to make sure on Friday, I'm going to schedule more time to shoot content. Because the biggest thing is when you are doing other like real things too, you are a family person, you have other things, you don't have the idea or in time to just sit around and do shit. So you have to plan that. If I know that I'm coming up and I'm going to be going out to somewhere, I need to make sure that I go in there, I reverse engineer everything. All right, cool. I need that, blah, blah, blah. Even if the video is not up to par where you think it's going to be. Maybe it's just a video where you dropping one and it's a minute and a half and it's you saying, I was trying to figure something out. I burned out and I don't know what the hell am I doing, blah, blah, blah. You might not like that. But what you're doing is you're building up a consistent in your database right here that you're going to deliver. Just know the first 30, 40, 50 videos that you drop, trash. Don't worry. What you're doing is you're building that machine. You know what I mean? You're building that machine that you know how to get things done. And then after you keep doing it, you're going to continue to sharpen those tools. You're going to continue to start saying, all right, I'm a little bit more consistent with my time now. Now I know how to manage it better. It don't take me 20 minutes to get into the zone on this hour editing I have. Now it only takes me 4 minutes. So you're going to start editing a little bit better because you know how it's like, all right, cool. I got to work out right now. You can get up and you can go work out. I got 30 minutes. I'm going to go in there and hit it in. The first couple times, you're going to be like, oh, shit, 15 minutes, you're still looking. Man, I'm going to grab some of these weights eventually, right? You're going to do something, but and then that 30 minutes will go up and you're like, all right, that's 30. I fucked up. And then you just walk back upstairs and you finish doing your thing. But that consistency is what's going to help you. It's the same with writing. It's the same with storytelling. Our brains, these are muscles as well. We need to work them out. We need to work them out. And to do that, we need to practice.
I was going to say, I've noticed all your shorts coming out lately, the ones you're practicing with, all even have a storyline with it. Is that so you can flex that story muscle?
Yes. That's literally what I'm doing. Yes, I'm doing that for this feature film that I'm writing, and some of these little things I'm putting in, they might be I'm practicing certain things. Like I might be having something to see if I can bring an emotion out. I might want to see if I can make something sad. If I can make an audience say, "Oh, that was kind of sad," I'm like, "All right, cool, yeah," because I'm writing something and I'm just using this testing that's going to drop on Wednesday. And it could be a minute and a half, or it could be 2 minutes, or whatever. And it's just targeting that one piece. And that one piece is because I'm writing something for that. And then I'm thinking about other ideas. And some of those ideas ain't going to make it on a script, but they might make it on one of these shorts.
That's a good point.
Just
That's
to
good.
test it.
I like that idea. Yeah. Because then you're
Yeah.
testing your emotion. We should definitely have an episode talking about the psychology of emotions and all of that stuff, storytelling, because that stuff super intrigues me as well. But no, that's a good point, because now you're testing your storytelling muscle, you're experimenting, and you're checking the accuracy of your storytelling muscle.
Yes. And what you're doing is you're being consistent to hit marks. So if you're saying you're going to drop one Monday and Wednesday, you can drop a little something. You know what I mean?
So, yeah. So you're Monday and Wednesday. I know you're doing some product reviews and stuff like that and some shorts.
Yes.
So do you have a set schedule? Like, hey, Monday's my demo short day. Wednesday's my product demo day. Or is it just kind of like, hey, there's something coming out Monday. I have no idea what you're getting.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, I'm building up to having a schedule.
Oh, okay.
That is going to be, it's not there yet, because right now I'm building up to consistency.
Yeah.
I'm building up to consistency. And I want to do like 4 or 5 months of straight consistency to bring awareness, not awareness to them, awareness for me. So when I'm confident enough that I can do it and I'm consistent, then I can start scheduling. Mondays is going to be a short film. Wednesdays is going to be behind the scenes of how I did that short film. And Fridays it might be a tutorial on how I did that short film.
Oh, wow.
And then the following week is going to be something new.
Okay, so actually, I got a question that stems off of that statement there. Right. So my structure is I'm doing a vlog and I'm building out brands underneath it as the vlog is me following along as I build these brands. So, like you were saying, shooting the actual footage of the content that's entertaining and then doing it behind the scenes. Do you think about storytelling in the behind the scenes, or do you just record behind the scenes?
I think about storytelling in behind the scenes, because you still need to structure how are you showing those behind the scenes. Now, that might be you just shooting a bunch of behind the scenes, because just remember, you need to be consistent. So just get in the habit of shooting the behind the scenes. Yeah. Now, from there, you want to edit it as a story, meaning that you might do some voiceover. All right, so here, this is what I'm doing. I'm setting this up right now. Don't know what the hell am I doing right there, but what I'm trying to do is make this thing happen. Oh, I didn't make it happen, but you see that that's what I was going for. When you look here, this is me setting up lighting. I'm trying to go for this because I want to have that cinematic feel. I want to make sure that I got a little 3-point lighting, but at the same time, I want to get a Rembrandt. I want to make the nose like it's going to the shadows. I didn't achieve it because I was moving too fast, but y'all at least know what I was going for. Now, when you're telling the audience that, now it's engaging and we're going down the path of your behind the scenes. So it's going to be making you more relatable. And now people are going to be able to want to chime in more because you're relatable to them. You don't just seem like somebody that's on YouTube is dropping videos every Monday, Wednesday that got something look cool and they don't know how you did it. Then you show up behind the scenes, but there's no explanation. And they're like, yeah, that's cool and all, but how you do it, man? I want to do that.
Yeah.
And then they hear you like, oh, you was going for something else. You know, okay, I see. All right, I see where your mind is. So now they got something attachment. They start getting into the psychology of it a little bit. But these are things that you don't have to necessarily think of at the beginning. And if you're just starting, you don't want to think about it, period. Be consistent with dropping and just getting in the habit. Because later on, this is why the first 20 to 30 videos are going to be trash. Because you are not going to be shooting for that. You're just shooting. I guess I need to get something. You're going to just be there. I need some behind the scenes or something.
I was going to ask, do you just put up a camera and go while you're doing things, or do you bring it out and deliberately speak to it? And
I do a little bit of both. I do a little bit of both. Okay. Sometimes I'll have a camera. Like I have another camera sitting on the side over there. I'll just have that camera recording. I'll hit record. It's a little small camera. You can get nice little 1080 out of it. I'll have that camera record. Then I'll have my phone on me, and I'll use the phone a lot. Where I'll just be about to do something, and then I'll like, you know what, this could be something good to show them. And then I'll just hit that up. All right, y'all. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up this light. As you see, I got the grid on here because it's going to break away when it comes to. And then I'll say that little bit, and then I'll cut it, and I'll continue going. Yeah. And just doing that, if you know it's something that you learned, somebody else might want to learn it. Yeah. If you know it's something that was interesting to you, it might be interesting to somebody else. But if you're like, hey, look at the bottom of my shoes, y'all. Like, okay, why? Yeah. You know what I mean? Why? You know what I mean? It really goes into, and this is just a little bit, and we probably have to talk about this another time, but you want to have the, you want to do that verbal bridge. You want to make a bridge. What is it going to do? What is it going to do for them? I'm going to give you something, but why? Why do you want it? Why would you want to receive this? Now you have to think about that with content. This coming to make sure it's something entertaining. First off, why should anybody give a fuck? Yeah. If you can answer that with something good that you at least think is good, and you didn't get your head out your ass, then maybe you have something that they might want to, a product. You have something entertainment. Maybe you're a funny guy. Maybe you want to get in there and you want to teach. A lot of YouTube people say, YouTube University, right? Because you're going to learn anything. So you know if you're for teaching, exactly, right? If you're teaching something, somebody want to learn it. Right. You know what I mean? So it's something, and I'm not going to go too long on this, but I have a few videos that got 6 million views, right? And it's a car video where it's just a car on a treadmill. Yeah, I saw that. Right? So, and the thing that's crazy of it, the video that shot up to 6 million is behind the scenes. It's me showing how I set it up. Yeah. And I'm doing it with my phone. I'm not talking. I'm just like, oh, shit. Why? Because I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, I'm doing all of this shit on the treadmill. Like, look at this shit. It's crazy. It's car scene. I'm gonna spray here. I'm gonna put I got some sewing thread. I'm gonna hit that up to the bottom of the car with some tape, and I'm gonna turn the treadmill on real low, and I'm gonna let it just drive, and I'm gonna do this. And then if I make it dark and I spray water like it's raining, right? So if you do that, somebody found that interesting. 6 million people did. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it might be interesting to you because you got that little child in you. Because like I'm a big kid. Right? Yeah. Other people have they're big kids too. And if you have something that could be interesting and you can present it well, you're not boring it. If it's something actually interesting, that can be a market for you. So I would say when it comes to overall kind of summing all of this up, is that when it comes to storytelling, you have to make sure first that you're in tune with yourself, that you want to do it. You got to make sure that you build up a consistency, build up habits. Doing that by scheduling your time in your day out, getting out there and trying it multiple times. Don't beat yourself up. Don't hate yourself because the first 30 that you're going to have to do, you ain't going to like them. Nobody ain't going to like them. You can get one view and it's just practice. So you have to keep practicing. Took me fucking 9 years to start getting something on there to get monetized. I was dropping something that I thought was cool. And I'm like, I just think people don't. You
were a full feature director before you were monetized on YouTube.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's some of those things that when you think about it, you have to really put in consideration that this stuff is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. You have to understand how to be consistent to try to do things that you actually want to do. So do something that you want to do, be consistent, give that verbal bridge, make sure that you find that connection. Why should they actually give a fuck? Make sure that you trying to solve that answer, like that question. Once you do that and you're doing the things that you love, you're building up a consistency, you will start to build up and become successful for you. I didn't say for on YouTube or Instagram, but that means that you'll be successful. And usually the successful people start to get the following, they start to get the thing, they have a product, they have something. Other than that, everybody just shooting for the dart. We're just throwing darts at the wall, we're throwing spaghetti to see which one stick, we're hoping for the best. We're like, all right, man, come on, please. That's what we're doing. But I'll say having all of those things in favor, and I know we're kind of all over the place a little bit with this, but ultimately, consistency, don't beat yourself up, and scheduling, and have fun with it. Do that, enjoy yourself, and know that you ain't shit at the beginning. And sometimes you ain't shit in the middle either. You just got to understand that you got to like it and be consistent, and you will find your audience.
You could not have a better sign off. Well, that concludes our interview today.
Oh, man.
That's perfect. All right. Well, hey, thanks. Thanks for doing this. We'll have to schedule another one and dive a little deeper into some of this stuff. And I really look forward to the footage you're coming out, the content you're coming out with, teaching people about all this stuff, because I'm going to be right there on the first video out, like the premiere.
Sounds good. Definitely good speaking with you, dog. Definitely.
All right, man. Hey, thank you for your time. Have a great day.
You too. All right, man. Later.
All right, there we go.